So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, namaste, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talks 271st episode. In the last 270 episodes, we have talked to, interacted with more than 5,000 school leaders across the globe. Currently, the Blub World Web Talks is the world's longest running education series of roundtables. So, a very warm welcome to all of you for that. Now, today's session talks about something interesting that we'll be talking for the next 30 to 40 minutes with school leaders, with teenagers, people from different perspectives. What kind of expert knowledge do they bring to the table? But before we start, let me quickly set the ground rules for you. Think of the Blub World Web Talks like a speaking sprint. It's not a speaking marathon. So the speaking time is limited. And once your speaking time is over, you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It's just to keep the activity crisp and entertaining for everyone. Secondly, whenever you see my hand up in the air or you see Blub World's hand up in the air, that simply means we are requesting you to conclude in the next 30 seconds. So that's kind of a prompt to you that you can start or go towards the conclusion of your talk. If you miss out onto anything, if there's something that you want to add to the conversation, don't worry, there's an open floor at the end of the session. Since this particular episode is a global episode where we have school leaders from multiple countries, so the language that we'll be conversing during this complete session is only English. Normally, it's a bilingual platform. You can use English or Hindi, but today we'll only stick to English during this complete conversation. So today's topic is something that has been discussed by every generation, because anyone who goes through any education system at any point of time is dissatisfied with the education that they get. Because that's a product experience that all of us get. So we all have our own complaints that, if this would have been better in my school, I would have been, had a better outcome of my life. If that would have been, I would have something else for myself. So today's topic simply talks about that should schools teach about money, mental health, and leadership instead of just subjects that typically alienate the world into theory. And when a student cannot apply that theory to the real world, it gets a little frustrating. So, can schools really switch towards life skills, or what we call the future skills or the 21st century skills? Can we teach students that instead of subjects, or do they both hold the same kind of weight? Can some things be, left and from subjects be left and we can focus more on leadership and money? To start this episode, let me just quickly give you some small little metrics to give context to the topic. Currently, only 33% adults globally are financially literate. 1 out of 4 teenagers only understands the meaning of the word interest when you talk of financial literacy. And nearly 50% of teens worldwide report that they're persistently stressed out of what is something that we all need to understand. But yes, this is what they report. And are we really teaching about all of this? Is the question that we'll be answering. And when we all know that when even LinkedIn did a simple survey that what are the 5 most in-demand job skills, and they all simply talked about leadership, communication, and emotional intelligence, most of the schools across the globe don't teach this. And to put it into a simple metric, only 15 to 18% schools globally sincerely teach about leadership or communication. More than 85 or 90% of the schools are not taking any effort in this direction. And when we don't take an effort, and when a student says, I'm not employable, I think we can put the story together. So this is what we'll try to do during today's episode, that what do the school leaders, the teenagers, and different people feel about that? Can we really shift the focus from core subjects towards little bit towards life skills or 21st century skills? And if we do it, how should we be doing it? So let me invite the first speaker for today to initiate the 271st episode. A very warm welcome to Mr. Ashish Gohel, the principal of Amar Jyoti Saraswati Vidyalaya from Bhavnagar, Gujarat, India. Mr. Ashish, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a
Very
very
good
warm welcome.
morning. Namaste to each and everyone present over here. My name is Ashish Gohel. I am the principal of Amarjyoti Saraswati Vidyalay, which is in Gujarat. Now, this topic is very close to my heart as I am in this particular education sector since last 12 years. That I'm dealing with the students of the age 13 to 18. So what we are catering to the students right now and what the industry needs are there, what they are facing in the outside world, that two things are very much different at the present scenario. So thank you so much, Blub World and Daksh sir, to select me for this particular topic. So I will just tell about this money part first. That why shall we teach money in our curriculum? Actually, my concept is that what we teach in the mathematics is right now addition, subtraction, or you will teach just equations. But according to me, you will have to teach them equations and also expenses. This literacy in finance is not just about the interest, it is about that you must know each and everything. Each and everything means what? If any of you don't know or don't know, but in CBSE curriculum, since last 3 years, they have added one more mathematics for 11th and 12th standard students, and they have added applied mathematics as a subject. So in that particular subject, you can have all the calculations regarding finance. So that is the best way to teach them. I also teach them applied maths, and I see that in that particular curriculum, the EMIs of loan, if you open the application of any particular bank and if you put the calculation in the textbook, both will be the same. So that level of financial literacy curriculum we need. So thank you so much CBSE to include that particular mathematics as a subject for the students. One more thing, that how schools can teach literacy to the students. So at our institutes, what we are doing is we are keeping so many quiz, or you can say competitions. You must have seen that Shark Tank show that is running on. So as a school, we are doing Bees Niti, in which we give the budget to the students. They will make a team and they will propose a plan to us, and we call industrialist as a judge. So we are doing this particular things what we can as a school level to lead to teach them about money literacy. Now the next thing is other close thing to my heart, that is emotional intelligence. Now, if the student is very much stressed, so we need to teach them that which thing to worry about and which thing is not to worry about. At the current scenario, at the age of 14, 15, 16, 17, you need to have the differentiation that these are the things you need to focus right now. Afterwards, these will be the things that you can focus on later. Right now, they are stressed about the things they don't have to worry actually. So the next part, that is leadership. So I will tell you one thing about leadership. That leadership is not.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ashish. The first 3 minutes were over, but we'll try to come back to you. You talked about the financial literacy aspect, where one of the major popular Indian boards, which is the CBSE, Central Board of Secondary Education, has just included the interest calculation that typically every adult has to do when they typically try to take a loan, either a home loan or a car loan, and they've put that same calculation into the textbook. I think it's very essential to make the next generation financially literate, because what we can all see, that money is now no more just money. Money is something that manipulates societies. It can change behavior. It can change how countries operate, how geopolitics happens. It's no more about, achieving an idealistic image of a nation. It's more about who makes more money. And when that becomes the focus of the world, how do you equip the next generation? What is it that you're doing when they don't know the basics of how? And the challenge is the simple concept that's taught during school time, the idea of a promissory note. Now that promissory note has evolved so much that there are so many money manipulation instruments that it's nearly impossible even for an investment manager to understand all of this. So how do we put into all of this into the textbook of a teen? Is the real question that we'll try to answer further. Thank you so much, Mr. Ashish. Let me invite the next speaker for today. Before I invite the next speaker, just to put in some more context, currently in more than 21 US states, It's a mandate that every child must be taught personal finances. We talk about financial literacy, and then we start teaching them about GDP. We start teaching them about, macroeconomics, rather than starting with personal finances. So, what should be the focus when we really talk about finance? And what should be the focus when we talk about mental health? Let's try to know from the speakers. Next, a very warm welcome to Mr. Daniel Cooper, the head of school for Liger Leadership Academy from Queenstown, New Zealand. I hope I took that name right. Mr. Daniel, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Gaur, thank you very much for having me. Wonderful to meet everybody. I'm coming to you from the South Island in New Zealand on a beautiful summer afternoon. What a very important topic. Thank you so much for the invitation to talk about what school, what is the purpose. Well, to us here at the Liger Academy, education is for preparation for life, and therefore education exists because society needs it to. And right now, society is undergoing massive shifts. Money, the concept of money, as you talked about before, is changing in front of our eyes. So we are very lucky because we're founded by a tech entrepreneur who has his eyes on the horizon, looking for a future, preparing kids for a future that we can't see yet. So I guess the simple answer is it is not a question between money, mental health, and leadership and subjects. It is, of course, them integrated together. Money, mental health, leadership, they are the foundation, they are the meaning of learning. So here at Liger, we're very lucky because we have shrunk our core subjects down to just numeracy, literacy, and science. That takes about 40% of a kid's day. That is what they need to be getting their basic qualification in New Zealand. But we are preparing kids for perhaps not university, where university is not able to offer the benefits that are offered our generation. Another 40% of their time are big interdisciplinary projects that are community-based. They are real, with real people, real problems. So our kids are constantly negotiating contracts with people, talking about the prices, putting budgets in for their work. There's a leadership embroiled amongst it all as they swap roles as they move through the term. We also then spend 20% of our whole school week on building that foundation of mental health, where we have a day of unity. We have a day of relationship with our community through stewardship, through community and service. That sets a foundation, that sets the trust, that sets the fact that kids know that they feel welcome and we can work through problems together to remove those barriers. So, not only are money, mental health, and leadership the cornerstone of the meaning that kids are moving into, but I really believe that they should be scattered amongst all of the learning that kids do. If they are concepts, then it's going to take a lot of time to understand and to develop their understanding of what they are. So in closing, education must respond to the new reality that we are facing. And so our eyes ahead, it's not about can they have financial literacy, it's can they understand what money is going to mean? Can they understand how to fail forwards? Can they understand how to operate and to be interconnected with their communities? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And I think the point that you concluded, that education has to respond to the changing reality. It has to be superbly fluid when it comes to its reaction to what's happening in the world. You cannot answer to change with rigidity. That happens in a lot of countries, that your curriculum is rigid, you try to complete that, and you typically forget what the real world is all about. One more important thing that you mentioned, to just bring more context, the government of New Zealand released this figure just some time back, that they started something called a student leadership program. And that has reduced bullying by nearly 30% for New Zealand. So what you can understand is that when you really transform an individual into a leader, he gets the onus of things. And then things change very, very, very quickly. We started a small little experiment very similar to this around 2022, which now has become big. It's called the World Teen Parliament that we operate. We are the only forum in the world where every month sitting MPs from multiple countries teach teenagers about leadership. Like the next Sunday, this very Sunday, we have one member of parliament from South Africa and one MP from Germany. They'll be coming on the World Teen Parliament and talking to teenagers directly. Because when we look at political leadership, we only look at them with their interests, that what is the agenda that they bring. But we forget that they are humans as well. They have had their own set of experience. They have had their own set of learnings and their own set of skill. The simple skill to mobilize a large group of people, is it something that can be taught? We have to really get into more of communication. We need more human libraries. We need people who start talking to people. We are too much into gadgets. We are too much into books. We'll have to figure out more ways of making education respond with the fluidity that we look at it with. Thank you so much, Daniel, for bringing this to the conversation. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Dr. Gaitri Suhas Jadhav, the principal of Priyadarshini School from Pune, Maharashtra, India. Dr. Gaitri, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Namaste, and namaste to everyone. Daksh, I am completely in line with what you have said right now. We need that communication base, people talking to people. I completely agree with this thing. The recent surveys, or what I have come across, a few of the incidents which happened this month itself. Many of the teenagers I have seen suiciding. This is a very serious matter, and where it demands, the communication has to be there on top priority, because we need to listen to these children, these people, whether it is the school children or in the community, anybody. I have come across one child suiciding where she has already done her master degree. So when it comes to subject and school, we already teach them those subjects. They have taken master degrees. After taking master degrees, if their mental health is not on a right track, then they end up their life. This is somewhere right now the world is facing around, and I feel that it is must, the school should come across mental health, and there the counselor, the communication, that's very, very important. So in our school, we see to it that children open up and speak to the teachers and even speak to the principal. So what I have done is I have put a box outside my office where children can come and can write and express what they feel and they think. It can be anything. So this is what we have been experimenting since few years, and I could get the output very good. Where when I read, it's only me who reads it, and it is addressed directly to the principal. So when I understand what is the mental health going on, what is the thought process that is going on, we can address it immediately. So this is one thing related to mental health. Whereas financial literacy is concerned, we have recently this year in our school have launched the financial literacy into the syllabus. So from grade 3rd to 12th, we have this financial literacy syllabus for them and the curriculum. And through activity, they learn how to manage the budget. And then based on that, we have some activities also where they make a product, they sell it out. It's like earn and learn scheme. So the financial literacy has been introduced this year itself in our school, and that's going very well. It's need of the hour. Then the leadership has been introduced through IKS. Thanks to NEP, what has been taken initiative for these three aspects. IKS is the most important. So through them, we are training leaderships. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gayatri. And I think you've typically responded to three of the points in the topic, which talk about financial literacy, mental health, and leadership. The challenge that we face specifically with mental health is teenagers don't find the right people or the right space to interact in. They don't have the right kind of safe spaces or safe individuals that they can interact with. And sometimes the teachers, just for the sake of discipline, has to alienate himself or herself to make the classroom work. When the classroom size is superbly big, when we specifically talk of the Indian ecosystem, if you have to handle 50 to 60 students in a classroom, then it becomes very difficult to control and be superbly empathetic at the same time. It's a paradox that a teacher experiences in an Indian classroom. So I think it's a good approach where you put a box where you try to take a look and feel of what are these students really thinking about, what's their process, giving them a space to express. This is something that is scalable and must be done by more schools. But what we have to understand right now that it majorly social media is now driving the behavior of a teenager. They're making ultra success sound like normal. When you go on Instagram, when you go on Facebook, you see ultra luxury, you see ultra successful people, and you think that this is something that I have to achieve because there are many people in the world who are living like this. And that becomes that momentary, aspiration becomes their reality. How do we tell them that that's not it? That's a solution that schools now really need to give, because it's very difficult to disconnect the perceived reality that social media gives them and the actual reality of the world. It doesn't get connected, and the only player who can do this is the school. So we really need a solution to disconnect these two worlds for a teenager or a child. Thank you so much, Dr. Gaitri, for bringing this. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Dr. Manish Semwal, the Head of Academics for GMIS Jakarta, Indonesia. Dr. Manish, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Afternoon, everyone. This is good afternoon in Indonesia. And what we are discussing today is something most relevant to what I feel. You know why? Because I always say that we all schools are dealing with teaching and learning. But there are many things in between, because teaching, learning, and there are the things which in between, and most of us are missing that in between things. When we talk about mental health, we are talking about mindfulness or empathy, or most important is happiness. Yeah. We say, yeah, this school has produced these many engineers, doctors, so many things. But have we ever tested which school is having the highest happiness index in the world? Yeah, we say there are happiness countries in the world. Yeah. But what about school? Because the school where kids are more happy, they will learn in a better way. And that's why we must teach happiness and mindfulness in the school. At the same time, when we talk about leadership skills, it's not that we have to teach these skills separately. These should be inbuilt within the curriculum, and how we design and how we provide those opportunities to the students to develop those leadership skills in terms of communications, in terms of teamwork, in terms of collaboration or community engagement. So I feel this is very important for every organizations to have something, community engagement program for the students. At least on their Saturday and Sunday, they can invest and they can be part of community and doing some service to the community to understand the community. Social initiatives are also very important, because for them, society is always virtual society. As Mr. Daksh said initially, they are living in a virtual society. They need that connections between human connections are needed. And at the same time, when we talk about financial literacy, because what I have seen most of the time, a school have university guidance counselor, and we invite so many universities to the schools, or giving all those big talk about university, how to write personal statement, how to write recommendations letter. But then ultimately what is more important is how to live your life at least those 3 or 4 years of your graduation, that most of the time we as a school are not teaching. Yeah, that is very important, because when we talk about financial literacy, first thing comes to my mind is how to manage my budget. Whatever family kids belongs to, they have to manage a budget, and that we need to teach them. And that's why I agree to Mr. Daniel when he said that when we give proposal to the students, that they make a proposal for a program where they have that budgeting system. Yeah, the limited money that you have, how you are going to utilize in various areas, that is very important. So when we talk about these three elements, these should be inbuilt with the curriculum rather than we are teaching it separately. because like in with teaching and learning, we are teaching those approaches of teaching and learning. Similarly, those life skills, personal and intrapersonal skills, are very important to be included within the curriculum. So knowingly and unknowingly, teachers are providing that opportunity for students to develop their leadership skills, their awareness related to mental health, educations, and money managements. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manish. And when you talk about financial literacy, when you talk about mental health, what we understood in the past 4 years at the World Teen Parliament, we work with teens in more than 30, 40 countries now. The easiest way to explain anything to a teenager is to challenge them. Don't teach them, because if you teach them, they will simply block you out. They are super consumed in themselves. They are self-obsessed to an extent. But that's the way human development is. So we don't, blame them for that. The best way to get the best outcome from a teen is to simply challenge them. And when you give them a challenge, give them a little bit of resource and a little bit of power, and they'll be able to do the magic. What we did at the teen parliament was exactly the same. We said, let me connect you to the most powerful people in the world. Let me give you some money to experiment, and let's see what you do within a year. Can you really transform a community? Can you transform the perspective that people have? Can you start a new conversation? What is it can you do when you have a limited amount of time, you have some money with you, and a lot of power with you? How do you bring in the mix together? What is it that you make out of it? Because that journey of making is actually education. When you look at the way education as a subject has evoluted, how did it actually come into existence? It was simply a human somewhere in the jungle trying to make something. That process of making is education. So you have to take them through that journey rather than taking them to a result and telling them, okay, this is what has happened. Now you find a way of connecting with it. That's the difficulty. You'll have to take a step back and let them have that journey for themselves. Thank you so much, Dr. Manish. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Merwat Sadiq, the principal of Maven International School from Suez, Egypt. Ms. Merwat, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
Good morning, everybody. We are now 7:30 in the morning in Egypt, and I'm really appreciate my being here. So for our school in Egypt here, we believe that the traditional subjects teach students how to make a living, but the skills for literacy or financial literacy or mental health or leadership teach them how to live and how to be exist in the society. So if we come to the point of mental health, we offer a lot of sessions for the students included in their daily schedule to teach them how to manage stress, how to build resilience, and how to reduce the anxiety. And this is really very helpful for the students and help them in their learning process. And for the financial literacy, we also try to let them understand how to manage money, budget, save, and invest. And this is a very vital skill to prepare the students for life, to see what is the importance of money and how to appreciate it and how to handle it. And for the leadership, actually, we include in all our curriculums and all our subjects that to develop the leadership by making the group activities and let them lead the group and be the leaders and be the ones who choose what they want to do and how they do it. And actually, we give them the opportunity to feel confident and to be responsible for their proactive qualities that are available in any career and in life in general. So by this, we have main focus on the skills that will be built in the students, not only the subject-wise. Because in the next era, or this era actually, it started that with a click of a button, you can have all the information you want about the subjects. So it's really now very, very easy. But to have the skills built in yourself as a caliber or as a person, this is the difficult point. You cannot do it with a click of a point. You have to build it through the learning journey in the school since they started in KG till they reach grade 12, and then to prepare them after that for And also we give them the opportunities in the school to have entrepreneurships, to have initiatives, to have a lot of things. If they have any ideas, we try to manage the idea and tell them how to apply it inside the school context. And let them give them the community service also, to see that they are living in a community, they are not living alone, and they have to cooperate together and interact together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Mavit. And you're very right. The journey is far more critical than reaching the end point. That typically changes the whole prerogative. You have to make the student's curiosity sit on the driver's seat. You cannot make them sit in the passenger seat and take them for a ride. That cannot be education anymore. That used to be education. But with the kind of changing realities that we have, and with AI already in, and people saying by 2027 we might have AGI, artificial general intelligence, what do you do? Why do you need humans after that? That's a question that we will need to answer within our lifespan. So we have to really think over it. Just to bring in some more context, there was a research done which typically found out 90-minute is the tipping point of homework. Now, what does this mean? This simply means that if you are giving homework that takes more than 90 minutes, it's increasing burnout. It's not adding anything to the student. 90-minute is the tipping point. So whatever you're giving them to, go back home and do and come back to you, it has to be under 90 minutes. Some of the governments even experimented it. China enforced it that you cannot give more than this homework. And since China was able to enforce it, they found out the results that it really improved student attention, it reduced stress, it made their life simple. So, what's the journey that you are starting in your school? That's a result that the world can emulate. You have to bring it to this. Everyone will have to find their own uniqueness that they can share with the world. Thank you so much, Mrs. Mervat. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Vikrant Sharma, the Director Principal for Littlewood Public School from Afzalgarh, UP, India. Mr. Vikrant, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Yeah. See, right from grade 1 or even the kindergarten section, the children are introduced to the concept of money. Then you've got commercial arithmetics all the way from grade 4, and it carries on. So the concept of money as such is covered by schools. Coming to mental health, we've got the school assemblies, the empathy classes, the SUPW classes. I mean, something as mundane as value education or moral science classes, along with the buddy systems, the team buddies, the vertical teaching practices, which are carried out in all schools associated with Littlewood Public School and encouragement EduServe, the organization I'm running. These help take care of the children's mental health. My office door is always open for children and parents and teachers. They can walk in and share whatever is bothering them as and when. You never know, a great one may suddenly come and start saying, "Sir, my pencil is lost. Come help me find it." So schools have been taking care of mental health also. Buddy system to open offices to even moral science. The school monitor system, the blackboard in charge, the prefectorial system in the school, the opportunities given to children to organize forms class assemblies to inter-school competitions. All these, they actually help build and inculcate leadership qualities in the school. So yes, a structured program like which you are presenting to the world of teen parliament and teen MUN, these things help. But the schools have been taking care of mental health, money, and of course, leadership qualities. My bone of contention, which I wish to pick, is with the topic out here. Just subjects. Come on. I mean, the anti-hero Heathcliff, the pathos in Ek Foos Ki Raat, where a poor farmer whose whole harvest is destroyed by by the cold. The sense of empathy and sacrifice in Godan. I mean, these are not just subjects. The falling of the apple, food for the making of food for the plants. They're just not subjects, sir. So the term just subject is something which I have concern with. Yes, we wish to say that long live MUNs, long live Teen Parliament. All that is fine, but the school doesn't work in just subjects. But yes, as the main concern where you have raised this topic is we are having stray incidents which are tragic, where children are jumping off school balconies. As a school leader, basically the main fault I found with the school, is that schools building are not child safe. The balconies should have a grill or something. More importantly,
Thank you so much, Vikranji. The first 3 minutes were over. I think you picked the right bone of contention with the topic, and I would just like to, bring it to your notice that only 15% of schools across the world teach about leadership, teach about financial literacy, teach about mental health. So more than 85% are not doing what you say, and that's why we'll have to call it just subjects. The purpose is simple. You will now have to belittle theoretical subjects. They don't have the glory that they had. An academically super performing Asian student does not make shitloads of money and success. That is the problem. That is why you have so many institutions across the world who are trying to bring this to the school curriculum. And this is the purpose that this topic was kept in place. We cannot go back to a time which people think was the golden age of teaching and education. Because education never has a golden age because it keeps evolving. It has no age. It keeps going forward. The reason we have to talk about money, we have to talk about mental health, we have to talk about all this is very, very simple. What is currently being delivered does not work. Because if it worked, the world would have been a far better space. I do note your point and do listen to it with all the respect, but I have to make this point just for the sake of it, that we cannot keep glorifying history because we are in love with it. We cannot do that. Thank you so much for your points. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Dr. Vinay Ojha, the principal of Govind Madhav Global School from Jaipur, Rajasthan, India. Dr. Vinay, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, my dear panelists, all panelist members. Yes, this is something I would say a very important topic what has been raised in this forum. My first question, I would start with one rhetorical question. If tomorrow you win 1 crore rupees, suppose, will you know how to use it wisely? The question starts from here only. If you are asked to lead a group of people, would you do it confidently? Many of you may say, I'll try. Smile and say, I'll try. That gives the answer. That gives the answer. The problem has not been resolved in the school part. We learn about a lot of leaders in the history. Are we told what were the qualities? We read about what happened in what year. But what was the reason behind that? We do not know. See, the problem here is not about only money and leadership. It's about the approach. I'll tell you in my school, this is not only my school, but what we did, what we have done with the students. We give them live projects. We gave them 1,000 rupees each. We made 6 groups of class 9th and 10th, and we gave them 1,000 rupees. And asked them, you have to return us 1,000 and profit will be yours. You have to invest it in the next 15 days, in whatever manner. And day by day, you have to write everything. Full accounting should be done. You will be surprised. The team which won this thing, they only sold roses across the main traffic points and bus stands and everywhere. Just 10 rupees 1 rose. Sir, please give it to your wife. Please give it to your brother. and they earn the most of the money. So that is where the approach should be. You should teach them how to earn money right from the school childhood. We teach them algebra, but not about budgeting. So again, if a child can memorize periodic table, why he can't manage his savings? We have seen many leaders, again, this is not a political forum, but again, we have seen many leaders who had the dynasty, but they couldn't extend it because they didn't have the quality. Once in one of the school in Japan, in a project, they were asked to design a small business. One girl, actually, she made homemade candles at the project. And then she started selling, making them regularly and started selling them online. And now she earns millions. So see, this is one reason again, time is over, I know. Yes, time is over, but I know, but we can go on. But the main focus which I wanted to take is that all these things to start right from the basic, not wait till the child graduates. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vinay. The idea of this conversation was to simply bring to everyone's notice that schools were spaces that gave students a cocoon. Experiment, find out things, how are they happening, learn a little bit, build a network, understand. But the current generation has so much information with them and just continuously flowing to them that they now need the challenge of a real world. The school now has to break the cocoon in a way where that controlled atmosphere gets extended to a community. We will have to go superbly back in time where this simple proverb came, it takes a village to raise a child. We need those villages back. It cannot be a closed, controlled experimentation lab like a school that teaches stuff. It has to be more connected to the real world. Thank you so much, Dr. Vinay, Mr. Vinay, for bringing this to the notice. Let me invite the next speaker for today. This is the time to add a little spice to the conversation. Let's talk to a teenager on what do they have to say about the topic. What do they feel? We can praise ourselves as much as we want, as institutions, as initiatives, as whichever role or whatever role we play in life. What do teens really think about it? What's their feedback of does their school, their community, their country give them the right kind of things that they need to build a successful life? So a very warm welcome to Mr. Sanchit Kumar Sharma, who's currently an MP at the 4th World Teen Parliament and a grade 12 student from Dharav High School, Jaipur, Rajasthan. Sanchit, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and
Thank
a
you
very
very
warm
much, sir. Namaste, everyone. I'm Sanchit Kumar Sharma, a grade 12 student from Dharav High School, Jaipur, Rajasthan, India. And I'm excited and honored to join you all in this important conversation. Our education system today is incomplete. It gives us knowledge, but fails to teach us how to manage and survive in the real world. We are knowledgeable, yet utterly unprepared. The Vedic system, for all its scholarship, mandated self-discipline and practical life skills. They knew knowledge is useless without a competent person to wield it. We must return to this approach. We need a holistic life skills mandate. First, we must teach financial and digital responsibility. We master complex formulas at school, yet lack the literacy to manage a budget or avoid economic traps. Mandating finance education is essential. Studies show students achieve higher credit scores and are 40% less likely to default on loans years later. We must pair this with media literacy to ensure students survive the modern financial and information environment. Second, we need mental resilience and self-regulation. Academic pressure is immense and we cannot expect high performance from students who lack the tools to manage stress and focus. Schools implementing well-being curriculums focused on mindfulness and emotional regulation report a measurable decrease in behavioral issues and a rise in engagement. Teaching self-regulation is not an optional or elective subject. It is a performance booster for every subject. Third, we require ethical leadership and conflict resolution. Success depends on the ability to collaborate, communicate, and solve problems with integrity. Our curriculum must mandate training in negotiation, ethical decision-making, and conflict resolution. Finally, we need vocational and practical competence. We must teach basic self-sufficiency. Imagine graduating a student who can't fix a leaking faucet or change a flat tire. This is dependence. We must integrate mandatory modules on basic electrical repair, simple carpentry, basic mechanics, and plumbing. These skills empower students to manage a home, save money, and truly feel capable. Practical skill is freedom. The argument is simple. By mandating these foundational life skills, we strengthen the student's foundation. We ensure our graduates are not just knowledgeable, but truly prepared for survival, success, and self-sufficiency. The time for integration is now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sanchit. To bring this conversation to an end, because we are nearly at the end of this session, we talked a lot about a lot of things. We have to understand that the current education system is just looking for the next Oppenheimer. It's looking for the next Einstein. It's looking for the next Newton. So that people have that scientific advancement at the earliest, and a country can have advantage over others. But the problem is, not majority of us will be scientists. We don't discount the importance of subjects. We don't discount the importance of learning the core things about science, numeracy, literacy. But we have to understand the major masses in all the institutions that we run across the globe won't get into theoretical physics, won't get into quantum mechanics, but they need skills to be happy and comfortable in their own life. And we don't have a mechanism to do it. And I think we don't need a mechanism to do it. We just need a lot of liberty to do it. We have to liberate ourselves from the thought process or the understanding or the curriculum that might have been enforced on you, because in most of the countries, curriculum is strictly governed and controlled by governments. We understand that inability. We'll have to find more liberal spaces. We'll have to give more safe spaces for experimentation. Because again, once again, in the time of human evolution, experimentation has become far more important than experience. Because the kind of future that we're looking into, your experience might not help, but experimentation would. You'll have to experiment more, fail quickly, so that you're able to achieve more. A simple Harvard study revealed that more than 42% of children who learn emotional intelligence and decision-making skill early in life are more successful than the other 60%. For a simple reason, this is a skill that they will use day in and day out. And to conclude this conversation today, just understand this one simple metric that has been tested across countries. What's the ROI on investing in all of this? If I put my money in leadership, if I put my money in teaching finance, if I put my money in teaching mental well-being, what will it do to me? Because everything at the end is a financial decision. For an institution, for individuals, everyone is looking at how money manages it or how does money turn around it. The simple ROI of investment to the kind of return that you can generate if you put your money on all of these three topics is 1:11. Every $1 that you invest will give you a return of nearly $11. So it's a financially good decision. It's an intellectually good decision. Now you have to understand, are you ready to decide? Thank you so much everyone for being a part of the Blub World Web Talks. This was the 271st episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, and if you want to attend the future sessions, open your audio, say a big yes, and it was amazing interacting with all of you. Namaste. I am Daksh, founder of the Blub World magazine. Thank you everyone.
Namaskar everyone. Have a great day. It was really amazing.
Thank you so much, Mahendra. Thank you.
Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you.